Ben Rusco's Genius Hour Project, AP Government and Politics with Mr. Keller. As my Genius Hour project, I decided to do modern human genetic engineering. The reason why I chose this subject is because it involves my two favorite subjects, science and government. First things first, I will explain what genetics is and what human genetic engineering is. Genetics are the study of hereditary and the variation of inherited characteristics. Genetics are what makes us who we are today. If you have dimples, or if you don't have dimples, it's all thanks to genetics and what genes you got from your parents. Scientists today have found a way to erase or replace undesired genes from the human genome passed down by your parents. Having these undesired genes results in heartbreaking genetic disorders, like this picture here of an MRI scan of a brain that is showing Huntington's disease, or this picture of an X-ray scan showing a person with a genetic disorder named cystic fibrosis. Now, you're probably wondering why I'm doing a project on science in a government class. That's because the legislators of today's modern Congress will not allow genetic testing and will not pass a bill granting the ability to research genetic engineering. Congress thinks it's morally wrong or it is unethical to perform genetic testing. Now, most people believe that human genetic engineering or the manipulation of the human genome to fit our standards of today's modern society is playing God. But remember, Gregor Mendel, he was the father of modern genetics. He was also a Roman Catholic monk who believed in the Catholic faith. He also believed that there was a divine being that put these breadcrumbs here for us to find and someday figure out so we can make life or his creation better. And in no way would genetic testing hurt or harm people with disabilities. And manipulation of the human genome would simply just improve their lives, make their lives much better, make them live longer, and improve the lives for future kids who have genetic disabilities. Now, we all have the mental capability to imagine something like this, but is it truly possible? This is why I met with a neurosurgeon to get a better understanding of what human genetic engineering is and what it has in store for us in the future. The next part of this project would be when I am actually interviewing the neurosurgeon. This part is now. Could you please state your whole name, your title, and the hospital you work at?
My name is Guy Music, and I am a neurosurgeon in Omaha, and I actually work for a private group here in town that is a group of 8 neurosurgeons. We practice at 7 hospitals in Omaha and Council Bluffs. Probably the larger ones we work at are at Methodist Hospital and the CHI hospitals as well.
Okay. Now, I'm just letting you know really quickly that the stuff you give me, the answers you give me for this test, the audio voice recording that I'm taking right now, it will be used in a PowerPoint, and it will be presented, and it will be put online. Is that fine?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let's get started. Do you know what human genetic engineering is?
I know a little bit about it.
Okay. Could you give me a rough analysis of what you think it is?
Well, my understanding of it would be that it's modifying the human genome to either weed out undesirable qualities or possibly to maybe create more desirable qualities through genetics.
Okay. Do you believe that there could be ways to potentially end genetic diseases such as cystic fibrosis and Huntington's disease?
Yeah, I do believe there are some. I think cystic fibrosis is very interesting, actually. That would probably be one that would be higher on the list. I think something that would be modifiable for sure.
Okay. Are there any cures, like 100% cures for it as of today?
No, there's not. There are ways to treat, but there's no way to truly cure that I'm aware of.
Okay. Now, the risk of performing surgery on someone's brain, it outweighs the benefits, or it outweighs the risks, right?
Typically, it depends on what you're trying to trying to address. There's certain conditions, like for instance, Parkinson's disease. That's something that we do surgery on to help a person improve their quality of life.
Quality of life. Okay, all right. That kind of ties into the next question. So if you don't do brain surgery, they will still live, but their quality of life will be improved.
Through surgery, a lot of times, yeah.
Okay.
That's the intent, anyways.
All right. So when you were getting your PhD in neuroscience, did you learn any types of cures about genetic diseases that we have today?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head that, as far as curing of genetic diseases, usually it's diagnosis and then treatment.
Yeah, so there's no 100% cure. Okay.
Correct.
Now, so you're working with hospitals you're working with patients every day, and you have the technology. And do you think there is a future for human genetic engineering?
I think there is for certain diseases, like what you were mentioning earlier, like cystic fibrosis, things like Huntington's, Parkinson's, stuff that's impacts life, shortens life expectancy. I think those would be things that would be considered reasonable targets for genetic engineering.
Okay, so it is a possibility.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you don't mind me telling, what is your religion? Because the questions after it.
I'm a Lutheran.
Lutheran, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so in your Lutheran faith, do you think it is morally wrong or corrupt to alter the way a baby is born by altering that human genome that we discussed about before that is undesirable? Before the baby is born or even formed in the womb?
That's a tough question. I think that if you are trying to modify with the intentions of, I guess I would consider more vain purposes, like trying to decide what color of hair a child's going to have, or eyes, heights, that kind of stuff. I don't think that would be morally appropriate. But I think if it's if a family has a genetic condition that is going to either impact quality or length of life, then you could make a reasonable argument that would be a reasonable option to look into.
Reasonable treatment.